Welcome to the bright side of aging. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm the publisher of the American Senior Gazette newspaper and host a daily radio program cleverly titled Bright Side of Aging. That's why we call it Bright Side of Aging on TV as well. We believe that age is a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. It has also been said there is no such thing as old. Actually, you may say that you get older, but you never should refer to yourself as old. In fact, I believe that age indeed is a blessing that you should enjoy every day. And I try to interview positive-minded people that are willing to share with us ideas that caregivers as well as care receivers can benefit from the resources that are out there. One of the biggest issues as you age is the fact that you may unfortunately need more and more services that you were able to be on your own before the age brackets sort of increased. A really interesting concept that I'm excited about trying to discuss today will be a concept called time banks. And the beautiful part about the fact that it's called time bank is that that's exactly what it is. It's a bank of time. And with me today are two very actively involved people in the organization. Diane Turnipseed is an active, proud, and lively 57-year-old Pontiac resident. I am amazed that usually ladies don't like to mention their age, but she believes that age really is a matter of the mind and doesn't mind sharing it. As a small business owner, she has done cooking and sewing alterations and also is a Primerica's insurance agent striving to build her following and clientele. Diane has lived for 7 years with her sister Flo in a house built with Habitat for Humanity. Diane has had a car sitting in her driveway for over a year that needs fixing, but she doesn't have the funds to be able to fix it. Diane loves to cook, sew, and organize. She has received transportation and computer repair through Sun members. She's provided cooking alterations and social media help to Sun members. She's a staunch supporter of the Sun Time Bank since its inception. Diane considers what Sun Time Bank members do as love in action. Wow, that's quite a title and subtitle.
Yes.
And you have Joe Undick, right?
Correct.
And the official name is Josephine, right? Josephine
Go by
Undick.
Joe, right.
Joe is better. Okay. Joe is an active 80-year-old member. It's actually an old. She's an 80-year-old mother of 4 and grandmother of 11. Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you know why grandmothers and parent and actually grandkids get along so well? Because they both have a common enemy. Anyway, she's a former secretary for the marketing company that did the showroom for Buick Oldsmobile, and she now enjoys time making crystal jewelry and quilting. She lives in Sylvan Lake and has received several services from from Pontiac Sun Time Bank, and including house cleaning and gardening. Those are the services she's received. She is planning to build, or actually the members are planning to build a ramp to make it easier for you to get in and out of the house. She has provided transportation and done a crystal jewelry class for Sun members. So you guys are pretty active people.
Oh, yes.
And we're all
So
enjoying
let's
it.
start with, first of all, Pontiac Sun is such a terrific name because the show is titled Bright Side of Aging, so as a result, I believe in the sun and what have you. Is there significance, Diane, to the name Sun itself?
Well, the SUN stands for Strong United Neighbors, and that's what we are doing with the Time Bank. It's all about building community and getting the people together, and it's awesome. I love it.
I see. in shirt sleeve English, correct me if I'm wrong, what it really boils down to is the old-fashioned concept of before all this fancy-dancy high-tech stuff, you really traded services. And
Exactly.
I'm a firm believer, because of my involvement with seniors, and actually I'm also involved with the Optimist Club, and I understand, Joe, you're an active member in the
Yes,
Pontiac
I've been an
Optimist
active
Club.
member for 11 years.
Is that right? You're
Right.
my kind of gal. That's great, because really when you analyze it, our roots in society have been to help each other out, and we obviously over the years found that we had to get involved with different services that you had to be paid for and what have you. And as you age, many times the budget is limited, and of course, as a result, you try to work it out so that you help each other with each other's talents. I'm a firm believer in that saying that everyone has got a special talent. And Diane, I guess that's really the heart and soul of how
Yes.
the whole program works.
Yeah, everyone has talents and gifts. Everyone has needs. And so what the concept of the time bank is to get, give, and connect. And so you use your talents and your gifts to meet other people's needs. And instead of charging them money, you earn time. And you use your time, you know, to get something else done for you.
What a
It
simple,
works.
phenomenal
I love
idea.
it. I love it.
Now, how long has the Pontiac Sun Group been around?
Well, I started the conception of it. It was March of 2013.
And what about you, Joe?
I started in November of 2013.
Oh, so you're young chicks, so to speak.
Right, a newcomer.
That's great. As far as your involvement, can you give us sort of a description? You get up which day of the week, Joe, and say, today is Pontiac Sunday. Is there a set schedule you operate under?
Well, we do have a steering committee meeting once a month now, and it's usually on a Tuesday or Wednesday. And then we also have a meet and greet for potential new members to join the club, and that's held every 3 weeks. So, and it's been very rewarding for me because I'm somewhat handicapped with my knees, and the people are just wonderful. They're willing to help, and we trade. I will do alterations, sewing. I will do some quilt repairs, and they came and did my kitchen for me. Washed my kitchen window and cleaned the floor. And it's a trade-off, and I'm very comfortable with it because the people are all so trustworthy. It just is amazing.
That's an interesting point, Diane. What is the screening process? How do you know that whoever is involved, is there a background check
Oh,
done?
definitely. Everyone gets a background check. So we want to make sure everyone is protected. You know, we don't just send anybody into your home. If they have to come to your home, everyone is screened with a background check.
That's really a phenomenal project, because you really must have a lot of busy work involved in just keeping track of who does what when. Isn't that right?
Well, at the time bank, what it is, you
schedule.
once you fill out the application as a membership, then we have an orientation where we show you how to log into the bank. So if I do something for you, then I log in the hours, and so that's how I get the credit for what I do. I log in my hours, and if you get some work done, you also go into the time bank and log in what was done for you. So that's how the hours are done. And so if you need something else done, then you can use your hours to get somebody else to do something else for you. So it's about giving and receiving.
Wow. Now, as far as the actual procedure, let's say someone out there wants to get involved, we'll probably be flashing the telephone number on the bottom of the screen, but the number I have is 248-797-2728. Is that correct?
Yes.
So someone out there that does not live in Pontiac and says, hey, you know, this sounds like it might work for me? Do they have to live in Pontiac?
Well, if they can, right now this is for the Pontiac area. Even if you don't live in the Pontiac area, if you work in the area or you go to church in Pontiac, you're still considered to be, you know, as a Pontiac. And if you want to start in another area that doesn't have a time bank, you can also call that same number and start one in your area. It's phenomenal.
Yes, and I imagine it's a wonderful way of meeting people. I just wondered, Joe, can you share what was your feeling you came to the first meeting and what happened?
Well, one of my Optimist Club members asked me to come over to it and join. So her name is Joanne Lake. So she asked me to come. She said, you'll like this. You'll get help and you can provide help. And it's an equal trade and there's no financial involved.
Money does not change hands,
No,
just time
there
changes
is no
hands.
financial.
I see.
So that I said, that's perfect. I want to investigate and see
Right.
what I can do in
Right.
my way of offering, and it has worked out. It's been absolutely great.
So are there limitations as to the type of services? I imagine whoever volunteers, does someone screen, hey, you're good at this, you're bad at this? Well, saying bad, I guess, is not a good way to get started, but if you're good at this, how do they determine your talents?
Well, that's how, by giving them what you do, showing, like I've shown my quilts and I've shown my jewelry and I've taught the class. I've taught a class of working with Swarovski crystals. So, and the 6 girls that were in that class all made a bracelet and they enjoyed it. And then in turn they came over and did my front lawn.
As a trade-off.
Yes, I needed weeding done and I can't get down because of my knees. So they took over and did all of that. It was just fabulous. It's just, it keeps us people in our own home. We're allowed to remain in our home and still have services. And that to me is positively
well, you know, they
great.
say a penny saved is a penny earned, so if you can trade your services, that's money that indeed you can have, especially you have 11 grandchildren, is that right?
Right.
And birthdays come up all the time, I bet.
They certainly do. They certainly do.
I see. Well, so then how does the actual time work out? Let's say someone's particularly talented and they're putting in all these hours. Can they end up with a lot of hours that they deserve?
Yes. Right now I have almost like almost 300 hours.
Oh, I have 91. So
91, okay, all
right.
Well, that's interesting. So before I get in with more of the nitty-gritty, I'd like to find out exactly as to how then do you determine that, let's say someone is in need of doing something, how do you provide them work? Can you trade your hours that you got at 300 and you have 90? Can you barter that time as well, or not?
No, we usually just maintain our own hours. But when someone does something for us, they take some of our hours showing that they've done it, and then they also ask us to there's a little note that comes for you to say that you approved of everything they did to make their qualifications correct.
So you have that screening process. There's a lot more to talk about. Right now we'll take a brief break and we'll be right back.
Residents of the Orion area are encouraged to safely dispose of toxic chemicals by attending one of several No-Haz events scheduled throughout the year. Orion Township will host an event on Saturday, September 20th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Friendship Park and is free to residents. Drop off computers and electronics, paint, pesticides, cleaners, and batteries. A team of trained volunteers and professionals will be on hand to collect, sort, and package the items for proper disposal or recycling. For more information, visit nohaz.com or call 248-858-5656.
Welcome back, and I'm talking with Diane Turnipseed and Josephine Ondick, better known as Joe, okay?
Correct. Thank you.
Hello, Joe. And hello, Diane.
Huh?
And we are talking about Pontiac Sun Bank, Time Bank. And instead of really complicating things, I thought I'd recap some of the thoughts that we crossed over, and that is that you really are a service organization intended to help each other, primarily since obviously it's Pontiac times Sun Bank. You are looking to negotiate or deal with people in Pontiac, but you said, Diane, you do not have to be a resident necessarily as such of Pontiac, as long as you've got some involvement.
Yes, you could be connected by, you know, you
family
can go to
member.
church in Pontiac, or you work in Pontiac, or...
Now, Joe, you're into quilting and stuff, is that right?
That's right. When I was with the Optimist Club, I taught children in the 6th grade class over at Kennedy School.
Ah,
So then when I've been doing quilting for over 25 years.
oh, wow.
So I've done it for all my grandchildren and my grandsons. And
I'll tell you, on a personal note, one of the real memories I have of my mother, she was absolutely super talented, and she always, you know, poo-pooed her skill. We have almost a wall-size quilt, and I sort of get teary-eyed many times, especially when you're thinking back. There is something about that whole feeling that you have in looking at a quilt.
I've made for my children, they're quilts of clothes that I made for them when they were little.
Ah,
And then I put them into a quilt for them. So
ah,
it is a tradition that you carry on. My
uh-huh.
mother did it, and her mother did it, and
Uh,
so that's how
I'm
I
just
came
I'm
to
just
do it.
wondering, do you, when you go to lectures, do you quilt while they're talking or anything?
No, not usually, not usually.
Because I'll tell you, some of the speeches I've had to sit in on, I wish I could quilt. Maybe you could start a new service. If you're bored by the speaker, I am going to teach you how to quilt, okay? That is actually what a wonderful gift. One of my pet projects, and you could possibly want to be involved. It's like a lot of great ideas. You need the right people to work with, and this is what the whole Pontiac Sun Time Bank is about. People are really giving of their time and trading their talents with others. Is that I call it life. And are you ready for this? Okay, life stands for linking intergenerations for enrichment. So you, Joe, could do quilting with young people, and they in turn could help you on the computer and stuff, because
Yes.
I'm a pharmacist. So we've always joked about all these child-resistant containers, that if you wanted to open up any child-resistant container, ask a 7-year-old kid. They can open
Can do it.
So as a result, there is that linkage. And Diane, I wondered if you could give us sort of an overview. Hopefully some people watching say, hey, this sounds like something I'd like to get involved with. What happens? You call, and then you...
Yes, you can call the number, 248-797-2728, and you can let your request be made known. You can speak to Kim Hodge, and she will let you know, the process, what you need to do. You can fill out the membership. We also have a website, www.pontiacsuns.org.
And this is a non-profit organization, so it's not like somebody sitting back, hey, I'm going to really take advantage of people. This is strictly people-to-people type of involvement. And you maintain the hours, and then I'm a little bit concerned about this technology that you mentioned. Do you have to be a real techie to keep track of the hours and all that stuff?
Once you learn to come and you come to the orientation, they'll show you how to do it. And we also have Time Bank members, if you're not computer savvy, that can teach you how to do
I see. Well,
work with computers.
I would imagine that'd be a great way to actually trade time. If you're tech savvy, you can. In fact, I joke about it that I hate, since I want to stay on theme with the bright side of aging, is that so many people, if they forget something or other, they say, "Oh, I'm having a senior moment." And I hate a senior moment. What I like to think of is you're technologically overloaded.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Okay, it's yours. I took it from somebody else.
That's great.
I joke about it that if you steal one idea from one person, that's called plagiarism. Steal a whole bunch of ideas from a lot of people, that's called research. Okay? So I do a ton of research.
And the reason I'm updated with computers is I have 5 grandsons, and 4 of them have graduated from college, and all during the time they grew up, they're teaching me, this is the way to do the computer, Granny. You'll get it. And I've accomplished it just by having them coach.
Oh, yes.
Well, we talked about your involvement with the Optimist Club, which I'm a member of as well. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful organization. And actually, the more I think about it, as you know, the mission of the Optimist Club is to help young people,
children,
right?
Yes.
So I can't think of a better partner. Are there any other organizations, Diane, that you deal with as far as time?
Oh, yes. Well, we have 14 other organizations that are involved. The Catholic Social Services of Southeast Michigan, Common Ground, Community Housing Network, Easter Seals, Freedom Road Transportation, Girdle, which stands for God is Raising Devoted Ladies for
I was afraid where you're going to go with that.
Okay. And the Hope Hospitality and Warming Center, Lighthouse of Oakland County, Oakland Family Services, Oakland Livingston Human Services Agency, also considered as OSHA. And then we have the Pontiac Optimist Club, the Pontiac Public Library, the Pontiac Regional Chamber of Commerce, and the Art Experience.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you got
And it's growing.
And it's growing. So, and you obviously would be open to other organizations
Definitely.
that want to be involved.
Definitely.
So, as far as the actual meetings, I'm always concerned that, hey, even if it's a good project, how much time of your personal time do you have to give up as far as your
It's
involvement?
totally voluntarily. It's up to you. If you want to do 1 hour for somebody, 2 hours, it's up to you.
Now, as far as you mentioned, there's a meeting, a set meeting each week. Is that it? How's that work?
We do have meetings. We have the
Steering committee.
steering committee meeting, and that is for members who contribute all different things
Services.
to
Well, that's where we do all the
promote.
planning and getting
To
all our
promote it.
ideas, putting everything together just for the,
and to promote
Time
new
bank.
members as well.
yes.
So if you join the organization, it's not a matter of suddenly you're the Lone Ranger, right? Because the Lone Ranger even need a Tonto, right?
That's right.
So you
That's right.
join up and you come
As
for
a
this
group.
Tuesday morning. Is it Tuesday morning? Is that what you
It's
said?
normally on Wednesday
Wednesday is
Wednesday?
the steering
1 o'clock
committee, and
for the
then
steering committee.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have other different events. We have, like I said, fun night, game night. We have cooking classes, all kind of different classes. We use our talents also to teach others.
Oh, I see.
know. I love cooking. I love baking. So
I love eating. We could make a real good combination.
So yeah, Bill Quinby and myself, we did a cooking class some months back, and it was awesome. He made a turkey chili, and what was the name of that cornbread?
But it was cornbread.
but it was really good. And then I did the dessert. I did a lemon sour cream pound cake.
Oh, wow.
And everybody loved everything.
I
It was really
see.
good.
So, well, that's the essence, really, of the bright side of aging, is that you have an opportunity to give back and
Yes.
really have a good time. So, as far as the fun nights are concerned, is that also on a monthly basis, or is it periodic?
Well, we
How
try to
does-
do something different each month
Mhm,
to have,
mhm.
to offer the people everything.
I see.
So we
So,
can get chance to fellowship and get to meet each other and know each other.
So if you have any talented people that want to sort of sing or dance, is there room for them?
They can do whatever they want to do.
Exactly.
There's no limit to the talents that you have, so we welcome it all.
I see. Well, I can tap dance, but it's just with one leg. So I usually have a limited skill there. But is there a singing group or anything like that? Because
yet.
yeah, you should. I mean, there is another opportunity.
We're open. We're open.
Sing for your dinner or sing for your screen. Something to think about anyway. And as far as the funding again, you're dependent on donations?
We're funded by United Way, and we also take donations.
I see. Well, I would imagine, without making it too complicated, that if you've been helped along the way and you want to make a special donation on your own, I'm sure you will not turn down the money. Is that correct?
Not at all.
I know in dealing with a lot of nonprofit organizations, no donation is ever too high. Is that right?
Correct. None too small, none too large.
Not too large. And as far as your size now, you said it's about 124 people?
144.
104.
And 14 organizations so far.
So I got
and
you.
it's still growing.
And are you looking for more members, or how do? I see. All right. So as far as someone wanting to know what services are available, do you have some sort of a directory with that, or is it? How does that work?
Well, like I said, when they log into the Time Bank, they can look at every member's name and find out what every person offers. And as we get more people, they have more talent. So it's no limit to, so far we have people that do computer, gardening, sewing, cooking, tutoring. It's just a lot of.
So you can sort of have your own little organization pretty well from A to Z, and of course. Mechanical type services are welcome.
We're in desperate need of a mechanic. Yes.
Yes. Well, I run into a lot of people who are mechanically inclined and actually are looking for ways that they can feel good about what they do. And I meet a lot of people in my activities, and there's so many people that are retired, and really when they get tired of playing golf or doing some traveling, have got these talents. I said, as they say, everyone's got a talent that you could probably help someone else.
And we welcome. It doesn't matter what your age is. Everyone has value.
Sure.
Yes.
Right. In fact, I would imagine the more seasoned you become, that way you have actually that many more people that can be of help to you, because they've already seen the older stuff and some of the older cars that may have parts that no longer exist in the newer.
There are groups that also offer transportation for those people who don't have a car. We have people that are willing to take you grocery shopping, take you to the bank, supermarket, wherever. And they will drive you and
just trade time service. Well, I'll tell you, of all the things I get calls from seniors, that seems to be one of the top ones, is just not being isolated. And I give talks on ABCs of aging. A stands for adjusting and accepting life as it comes along. You can't do the same things you used to be able to do. And B stands for balancing your life. You can't just play golf all the time, or you want to balance being with friends and family. But C, which is one of the biggest areas that a lot of seniors, especially when they lose the connections of people they grew up with, and the people pass away, and suddenly they become isolated, and because they can't drive, they're stuck. So this is really heavenly work that you're doing. I mean,
That's what I love about it. You know, it's
It's awesome. It just is.
yes.
right. And the good feeling that you have is knowing that you've made someone else's
Yes.
life easier. And there's a success poem that I quote when I have an opportunity, and this is one of those opportunities, is that success is growing a garden, bringing forth responsible children, to take criticism from friends in a positive way, and to endure negative type remarks, but above all, to know that you have made someone else's life easier and they breathe easier because of you. That's success.
Yes.
It's been a delight to have you on the air. I only have enough time for my favorite parting comment, and that is, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. And today is a gift, and that's why we call it the present. Please enjoy your present by looking and living life with the bright side of aging.